ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Here we are in our cavernous TNT-made hidey hole with Wolfie. Yeah, you taking all that time to woof to begin the episode. But let's grab him and exit out of what is now the front door and continue on to the Farlands here in episode 577 as we organize our inventory. Let's get our health up to full. And yeah, look east, look west, walk west here in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. It is Tuesday. This episode is being published on Tuesday, March 29th, 2016, but recorded on March 28th. I record these a day early, usually, if I'm being productive. This is being recorded on March 28th, which is an important date to remember in Farlands or Bustitude. March 28th, 2011 is the day episode 11 of what was then Adventures in Minecraft. But now, Farlands or Bust, episode 11 was uploaded 5 years ago today, and that is the episode that I said, nay, this will not be your standard Minecraft Let's Play. I will depart my spawn point and my hastily put together mountaintop, snowtop cabin. I will depart. I will head west and try to reach these Farlands that, up until recently, were not discussed much because Notch had just recently posted that blog post about the terrain generation. It was called Terrain Generation Part 1, and there was never a Part 2. But that's where he described the algorithms that went into Minecraft's terrain generation, and then coined the term Farlands based on the errors he knew existed when one was out at the 12.5 million blocks from spawn mark with the terrain generation, and then how he declared that he wouldn't bother fixing them. He was in no rush to fix the Farlands because nobody in normal gameplay would ever encounter them. So that's when I said, let's go! Let us prove that wrong, and let's try to encounter them in normal gameplay, which is why I've stuck to my word in playing in vanilla Minecraft. No flying, no teleporting, literally just playing vanilla Minecraft, walking to the Farlands, west to the Farlands for the past 5 years. So that is pretty crazy indeed. It was, what was it, March 6th? God, I always forget the date. I think it was March 6th or March 9th where episode 1 went up, which is important, the first Let's Play I decided to do on the channel, but episode 11 is the date that we started this journey. We've had some consistency, some inconsistency, some pit stops, some distractions along the way, but for 5 years we can say we've been walking west to the Farlands in Minecraft. Not always Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, but that's where we stopped updating because 1.8 is where they finally did fix, quote-unquote, the Farlands. And we don't want that. We don't want that at all. We want the unfixed, the true version of the Farlands here in Beta 1.7.3, and that is where we will continue. Onwards, and upwards, and westwards. I found it quite interesting. I checked out the world save size in the menu. You know, when you load your Minecraft world, it tells you the size of the save. 21,221.0 megabytes. 21221 megabytes of the world save, so 21.221 gigs. Whereabouts. I know gigabytes and whatever are calculated differently, but that's what I'm sticking with, and will certainly be more than that as we continue through this episode. Of course, let us not forget another important number, our Child's Play charity fundraiser over at farlandsorbust.com. $30,811, 51% of the way to our $60,000 goal for Season 6 here. I appreciate the continued support, the continued donations, and the continued questions and topics with your donations. When you donate, Much appreciated, and that's helping get toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world, as Child's Play Charity does, and as we've been supporting them since June 2011. Another milestone to make sure you put down on your calendars. Very exciting indeed. But yeah, 5 years. There's a lot of 5-year, anniversaries this year for a lot of people. 2011 was, some people started earlier, but 2011 was a pretty popular year for a lot of, at least in the circles we belong to, friends and YouTubers to have started up with this crazy little thing. So we were getting a lot of 5-year anniversaries happening here, and it's interesting to reflect and also to look forward, and that is where we will be going forward. I do feel like I have a couple things. I do feel like this, I was looking for a good way to make this a milestone, and I do feel like this is probably the perfect use for our pink wool we've been carrying around. We haven't seen a pink sheep in a long time. It would be very appropriate if we saw one this episode, but I won't be disappointed if we don't. But yeah, I think it would be a good idea to make a monument at the end of this episode to say this is 5 years later. Make a little marker, make a little sign saying so. Just to have a little bit of a history here in the map. Of course, all these little markers and milestone exist all the way back east there in this save file. I've gotten still many a message about having an overviewer map. I've kind of put that on the back burner as other things have taken precedent. The stream a weekday thing I'm doing, the patron server, the keeping up with Farlands or Bust, and other things that just continue to happen on the tubes and off. But that's still an interest of mine to get working. It simply might not work. What with this being such an old version of the game and an old version of the save files have changed once or twice since this time, and if I want to use an overviewer program, I'll have to use probably a current version of an overviewer program, which would only take the current version format of a Minecraft save, so I'd have to convert it, which might cause some problems. Also takes like a long time. I don't even know how to estimate that. I've had many suggestions, and I appreciate those, and I still look at those, but the truth of the matter is it's not our primary concern, and maybe it might not be ever a thing that we will be able to do, is to get an overviewer, a top-down map of the Minecraft Farlands or Bust world. I'm not sure. It's hard to say, but we'll continue thinking about that. And but right now, like I said, we have other primary concerns. We have other priorities, would be the word I was looking for there. Indeed. Got a little bit of Kurt J. Mac news over the weekend. I was very happy to participate in a local YouTuber meetup with the SMB Live server. Honestly, not before this, not a group, not a server I had really heard. I've heard the name or whatever, but I really hadn't looked into or watched any content of. But our friend MK the Worst was coming down to Phoenix for this meetup and invited us to participate. So I did, and it was good times indeed. I didn't mention it. I mentioned it to my patrons, and then I did tweet about it. But I decided not to make a big deal out of it, and perhaps might not make the most sense to some of you. But since it wasn't a Mindcrack meetup, it wasn't a Kurt J. Mac or Farlander meetup. It was somebody else's, another group's meetup, and it was kind of more about all of them getting together and hanging out with each other, more so than like a public have all the fans meet us. A few patrons did show up of mine and Farlands Bust fans, and was able to say hello to them and give them a signed postcard or whatever, or a picture, and that was really cool, and I appreciate everybody who did show up, and I had a good time, and I was really glad that MK invited me to that. It's good to hang out. I need to remember that sometimes face-to-face in-person contact kind of tends to trump the internet contact, I suppose, from time to time. It's good. It's a good thing, as Martha Stewart would say. So I'll perhaps have to try to work in a little bit more of that for myself every now and again. Of course, next month PAX East is coming up, and that's something to be excited about. It's the first time I'll be going to that. And yeah, in overall, we met a few. I met a few. I met a few. What, do you got a mouse in your pocket? No, I met a few local Arizonan YouTubers who perhaps in the future would be cool to hang out with or whatever. But yeah, that was fun. That was fun. We were at like an arcade, played some arcade games, did some bowling, and good times were had. So yeah, I really that made me feel good. So let's go to sleep and continue to those far lands in the morning. And awakeness. And can I make this jumpness? Yes, I can. Lower. So yeah, we're gonna continue on here. We are going to continue on for a couple days. I'll maybe. Oh, dang it. Guess we gotta swim. I'll maybe try to find a place near the end of the third day. Kind of a pseudo monument area that's impressive to make a little tower of pink wool to denote 5 years of walking west to the far lands. And of course, it's not a 5 continual years. Like I said, we don't make these episodes every day, and we don't. You know, we don't make the same amount of progress all the time. Things come up or whatever, but I think it's still worth noting the 5-year anniversary, the 5 years of FLoB. Well, actually, it wasn't called FLoB until June, but you get my gist. I went back and I named all the previous episodes "Far Lands or Bust," so everybody would understand. Everybody would get the gist of the show. That was another thing. It was I don't know if anybody remembers. It was a YouTube show. YouTube introduced these things called shows that were above and beyond playlists, where you could make a show. It would almost appear as its own channel, which I can't. I was always back and forth about whether or not that was a good thing. But we got shows enabled on our channel, and I made a Far Lands or Bust show with each season. It was set up like the system seemed to be made specifically for like actual television shows to be put on YouTube. So I made a Far Lands or Bust show. I made a Mindcrack show for each of the seasons. I made a Kerbal Space Program show. I think I also made Driver San Francisco as a show. That one didn't make as much sense because it was just a single season of content. But that was like it was a good and bad thing. Bad thing because it made its own channel. So there were a lot of people finding the Far Lands or Bust show or the whatever Kerbal Space Program show. They would subscribe to that and not my channel, I think. So therefore they would only get updates to that show and not everything on my channel. Perhaps that was great for the viewers or whatever who didn't watch any of my other content or just wanted this specific content. Or, you know, for my own sake, it was bad for not being able to introduce other people to new content, those people to new content. It was good because then also in the, this would have been a great place for one of these monuments. Oh, man, too late now, though. Or too early now, actually. Oh, look at this. This is great. This is great for at least maybe a screenshot or something. So yeah, it was good because it caused the show to show up in search results separately. So it kind of, I'm not sure how or why, and perhaps it wasn't intended, but Wolfie, there you go, one more time. Perfect. Perfect, well done, well done. Yeah, it would show up in the search results, like it would show obviously Kurt J. Mack's channel, but it would also show even near the top the show. And I think and the reason I get a lot of requests, I don't have any shears. Yeah, my shears. No, there they are. I built. My shears broke recently, but I built new ones. All right, I was just not seeing them. I'm blinded by the shears. Yeah, a lot of people who came via the Kerbal Space Program came via the show, because when you searched, I saw when you searched Kerbal Space Program just on YouTube, my show was at the top of the results. Not even the official Kerbal Space Program channel or squad channel was up there. So a lot of people found my series and me via that, whether or not that was, you know, had I not had that show, perhaps nobody would have, or not as many people would have found me through that. And again, that's a good, bad thing. I'm not sure. It's a really tough thing to say. They did, once they started rolling out this whole YouTube One thing and the Google Plus shenanigans that I never signed up for, they said they were getting rid of shows. So folks like myself, Good had a bunch of shows for his Space Chickens and his Minecraft series and stuff. It started to run into problems where they started to require, because, like I said, that system was intended, or at least seemed to have been built around the intent to be for actual television shows. You had to give your show a rating, like an actual, like, this is rated by the ratings board of whatever television MPAA or whatever. You know, the television ratings you get, at least in here in the United States, they're different elsewhere. For, you know, this is rated Y for everyone, or TV 12 or 13 or whatever the different ratings are based on content. Us being simpleton YouTube gaming makers usually didn't rate our shows because they didn't need to be, because they were never broadcast, or we didn't know what they should be. So the shows and the episodes that were unrated would show up as not rated, as in not, you know, as in maybe explicit even. And I remember getting a lot of complaints of people wanting to watch, if they weren't logged in, wanting to watch a show, and it would show up, oh, this contains mature content, potentially, or whatever. You need to log in and confirm your age before you can watch, like, an episode of Far Lands or Bust from way back in the day, or an episode of Kerbal Space Program or Mindcrack. And started to go back and edit individually. You had to go into each individual stinking little episode in the show interface to specify this is TV, or this is for everyone, or you had to say this is not applicable, or there was something you had to do to unlock that, and that just became so overwhelming for an episode, for, you know, back in that time, you know, for a series even as Far Lands or Bust, with ooh, nice dome you got there, Mountain. For a series that had over, at the time, 200, 300 episodes, was a bit of a understatement that was overwhelming. It was an overwhelming statement that decided, and they were saying, oh, we're just going to get rid of the show's interface. So we all decided to just delete those shows, and I still see them, however. Like, I still see the interface, like I could still make it a show, and I do wonder, a lot of stuff happened at that time, but I do wonder if removing those shows is something that did impact people's ability to, say, search and find search results for Far Lands or Bust. Well, I mean, if you search Far Lands or Bust, obviously you're going to find me, or, you know, whatever, for Kerbal Space Program, for Far Lands or Bust, for Mindcrack or whatever. So I wonder, you know, I wonder if maybe I shouldn't have deleted the shows or whatever, but I don't know. I've not heard a single peep. You never hear a single peep out of YouTube from it. I don't notice that much else with the show interface, so we are continuing as is, and I went on a wild tangent on that. Wow. But a little bit of a behind-the-scenes YouTube things I've gone through in the past 5 years with Kerchamak story there. Let's get to a different story, perhaps some stories that will be spurred on by questions from donors to Child's Play charity here. Xavier Penguin once again returns to ask what I think of Team Palindrome versus Team Breakers or Team Fixers when it comes to the donation amounts or donation totals, and the battles that will last for eternity due to the nature of these types of donations. During Zeldathon and donations, there was quite a bit happening there. I feel like, and then Cone Dodger comes back and says, do you have team allegiances? A lot of great googly mountains. Great mountains and landscapes here 5 years on. Thank you, Minecraft. Oh, that's neat. I love that shadow. Like, Minecraft doesn't have a dynamic shading system, but simply because that tree is directly above this mountain, it looks like it's casting a shadow sideways. Well done. Well done, Minecraft. Of course, when we come to the end of the next day, it's going to be all just flat plains that I'm going to have to decide where to put this monument. Sorry, but then Cone goes on to ask, do you have team alliances as far as the donation numbers go? Same question, pretty much. And I was seeing that back and forth as we were getting closer and closer and closer to the 30,000, that people were changing it back, changing it back. And yeah, that's a thing that happens with all donations. I don't think it's as crucial or as apparent in Farlands of Bust, simply because we are such a slow-burning fundraiser. It's more apparent, and I noticed it more during Flobathons, during live stream fundraisers like Zeldathon or Desert Bus or whatever, because the number is right there on the screen. People can interact and cheer for their teams in the chat live and watch the number live change. Whereas here in Farlands or Bust, there's a lot of delayed gratification, I suppose, in that we don't actually have a live, continual running total from episode to episode like that. It's just one of the differences. I mean, there are some, but I haven't seen. Careful, Wolfie, away from the cactus. I haven't seen too many other, perhaps because it is such a slow, long-duration fundraiser, kind of a slow burn, that the majority of fundraisers, gaming fundraisers, happen live-streamed as opposed to like this, which is fine. I'm unique. Not totally unique. I've seen some things like this, but I think it works out well, and as long as you guys have fun, and as long as we're supporting our chosen charity of choice, Child's Play charity, it's all in good spirit and good fun, whatever we can do to make a game out of it, just like we made a game out of reaching $30,000, so that I'll continue Farlands Bus Fridays onward. You know, it's all in goodness. It's all in goodness, everybody. Right, Wolfie? Right. Let's go to sleep and continue in the morning. And awakeness. But to answer the question, I have no allegiances because they all are working towards that common goal. What a boring answer, Kurt. We wanted to start a fight. Oh man. Jingle Stog asks, what's the plan for the Cavalier? Pro stock drag car? Yes! Oh man, I don't think that'd be possible. I still have the Cavalier. I still drive it around occasionally when need be. Drove it around over the weekend during the meetup stuff here in the locality. Yeah, awesome. Well done, Minecraft, with the terrain. Thank you very much. Wolfie agrees as well. So it still gets some use, certainly not as much use as it had in the past. The plan is, I'm hoping, I need to find some priorities, but I'm hoping to not renew it another year and sell it. I've mentioned I really tend to not really want to deal with just trying to sell it on personally, just to avoid that situation. I'll see whatever CarMax or something can give me for it. It still runs. It's still really cold air conditioning, which is especially helpful here in Phoenix, and no problems I've had with it. Still less than 100,000 miles, so I can get something for it. I'll see what like CarMax will give me for it or whatever to make the car selling easy on me. And then the empty space in the garage will hopefully, certainly the selling the Cavalier isn't going to make up for that the required budget to fill that empty spot in the garage with classic and or fun car Kurt J. Mac 2016, probably 2017, who knows, but that's the plan. I mean, it's been a good car, but I tend not to try to get too sentimental about such things. My mentality right now belongs to the Subaru and the potential for a fun car Kurt J. Mac havingness in the near future, that'd be great. But yeah, we'll see. That's the plan. Anybody in Phoenix in the market for a 11-year-old Cavalier? It'd make a great first car. Safe, has airbags, doesn't have anti-lock brakes though. I got the option without anti-lock brakes. Cold air conditioning, all that other stuff. Good mileage per gallons and stuff. New brakes. What more could you ask for? So yeah, that's the plan for that, I suppose. What else here? Crumbelina. Whoops. If you had to seek asylum, why am I needing to seek asylum from the US? The reason is unknown. Oh, okay. Thank you for completing the storyline. In another country, what country would you choose? Here are a few options. Brazil, Switzerland, Russia, Cuba. Well, I don't know about any of those. Switzerland sounds okay. Sweden sounds a little bit better. Iceland just seems like a nice place. Everything I know about Iceland, I've learned from Sigur Rós. So they obviously make it sound like a preferable place to be and to live, and I hear they're generally okay. Isn't Finland like the one with like the #1 either like life index? There's like an index of like quality of life based on like the happiness of the people, the crime, the stability, and the democratic leanings of the government, and you know what they do for their citizens. I think Finland is at the top of the list. The United States is like 13 or 14, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I've never seriously, obviously, considered that. I mean, Canada would be all right, because that would mean I'd be, well, I suppose if I'm seeking asylum. I don't know all the laws about that. Like, would Canada just be like, no, we're not getting any problems into the problems with the U.S. or anything like that. You're not welcome. But yeah, I could see that. That'd be interesting. Australia, New Zealand, that would be neat. It'd be interesting to have a different night sky, I suppose, a completely different night sky every night on the southern hemisphere. But yeah, I'll keep those options open. Oh, man. Yole Ole asks, per the discussion about cologne and perfume a couple weeks ago, is there a scent or a smell that elicits a strong memory of a person or event? This is one of those things that I could only tell you when it's happening, because there are some situations where I get a sense of deja vu or whatever, but I don't know what they are until they happen. Like, I want to say there's something to do with, like, popcorn or movie theater smell that makes me think of seeing Jurassic Park for the first time. I think it was, like, my 10th or 11th birthday or something when that came out. I could do the math, but I'm not going to. That elicits that memory. Maybe, I think, but then again, I don't know. I'd have to sit and waft in it for a while. I mean, people, of course, that you have different scents that remind you of, like, your grandma's house or whatever, depending on certain things. I think, yeah, I could probably think of a, but it's not like it smells like this. It's like, it's just that, oh, that's grandma's house smell. I can't describe you. It's like oranges, or, you know, whatever. It's not oranges. You can't describe it. It's just the combination of whatever cleaning supplies they use, or whatever they, you know, whether or not they smoked or not, or whatever, that would elicit those responses. So yeah, that isn't it the case that smell is the top memory jogger, or, you know, where we hold the strongest memories for some reason, just because of the location of the smell. The olfactory complex in your brain is right next to the memory center or something like that. So I would say yes, but I don't have specific things I can say. There are some, you know, I know some people with some negative connotations to smell. Like, oh, they were eating a mint chocolate chip ice cream cone, and then for whatever reason as a kid they got a nosebleed right then and there. So now they can't be anywhere near mint chocolate chip ice cream because it just makes them think of their nosebleed all over the place or whatever, you know. So I'm not sure if there's any like that off the top of my head either. My memory is poor, very, very poor. And look at this. I'm looking for like a nice place to set up a little tiny pink wool 5-year monument. And as I said, we're in some very uninspiring flat swamplands here. Let's very quickly see if we can cover more ground on boat to see if anything materializes over the horizon here. Materializes. Let's get through one more question while we're doing this. Pallet hands. How do you sleep at night? They asked me to actually ask it like that. How do you sleep at night? Foam or feather pillow? Well, at like hotels and stuff, you end up with feather pillows, but I've never owned feather pillows. My mom and sister were allergic to feather pillows, so we never had them in the house, so it's always been foam pillows. I'm currently looking for new pillows. Got some from IKEA, and I found them to be a bit too poofy and like neck or cranky, you know what I mean? Like it just not quite right. Pillows are a hard thing to shop for. Even, you know, people say, oh, don't buy them online or whatever, but even like in the store or whatever, how do you test out a pillow in the store? I always find myself just putting the pillow down and then plopping my head on the shelf on the pillow. That's no direct comparison of how it is sleeping at night. So yeah, I don't know. We'll figure out pillow situations. I've lost some sleep over that, literally, because it's directly related to sleep. But yeah, I stick with the synthetic pillows. I've considered trying, but have not gotten around to it. You know, the memory foam pillows are supposedly good, but those are a little bit more pricey, and maybe I should just, whatever. It's a pillow, man. Sleep is the most important, whatever, a third of your life is spent sleeping. So spend more on your car that you barely drive, and not on the pillow upon which you rest your weary head at night. All right, we're running out of sunlight here, so I feel like, no, come back, son. I'm not done, son. Sonny boy, come back. I'm not done with you. Let's do this. Right. Oh, all those amazing landscapes. And this is where you leave me. All right. Well, how about the top of this little gentle hill here? Above a cave system, which is surely going to kill us. Okay, this hill. That looks like a place. This is nice. Yeah, that looks like a place that requires some pink wool. I'm sorry that we really won't be able to see much of it because the sun is going down. Yes, this right here, this block is where I shall place. Should I do all the pink wool or just 6 for season 6? 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is gonna hurt when I do this. Let's do that. 4, 5, 6. Or should I do 5 for 5 years? 5 for 5 years, everybody. 5 blocks of pink wool for 5 years. Let's place the sign. We'll place the sign. Whoa. We'll place the sign. Wolfie, have a seat. We'll place the sign tomorrow. Or next episode, I suppose I should say. Simply because we're plumb out of time here, my friends. We are fresh out of time. So let's do that accidentally again. Let's get this water off of our bar. And let's dig in. Let's dig the hidey hole right underneath the 5 blocks for 5 years of walking west to the far lands. Like I said, I'll place the sign. Wolfie, do you want to get just a little bit closer, but also be very, very careful? Yeah, that's great, actually. Let's actually do this so I can actually see a face. There we go. Let's make a little roof there. And fill out the rest of this. Great news, everybody. A great day was had on 5 years of walking to the far lands. I do appreciate everybody's support, whether or not it's an official YouTube show, whether or not we're stopping or going, or we're consistent or not. All you folks who helped us out, helped out Child's Play charity, and yeah, five years of walking. It's gonna Christopher Walken, that is. It's gonna take certainly more than that as we continue on, even at this pace, this increased pace. And I hope you stick along for the journey. I would really appreciate it. And I'm really looking forward to making new friends, like we made over the weekend, and doing more things, recording more videos, doing more streams, having more FLoBathons, raising more money for Child's Play charity at farlandsbus.com. Segue. So keep doing that. Keep asking those questions. I made the beds already, so I guess we can make 3 beds. We got enough space. Let's do that. Yeah, that's great. It's hard to comprehend, honestly. It's really hard to comprehend, but a lot has changed. A lot continues to change, and I'm glad to have you, like I said, along for the ride. And I appreciate you having me as part of your Minecraft YouTube internet experience. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. Plopping my head on the shelf